血の言い草じゃないが、ここから見上げるとあの屋敷はちょっと腹が立つな。まったくお高く構えてやがるって気がするぜ。
Hi everyone, my name's Jacob and welcome to Clips by Kurosawa, where we'll be watching and discussing Japanese writer and director Akira Kurosawa's 8 films featured on Letterboxd's top 250 narrative features list. The film we are discussing today is only the second film by Kurosawa I have seen, so I invite you to watch his movies alongside me and come back to hear my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours in the comment section. On today's episode, we are discussing High and Low. Kurosawa's critically acclaimed crime thriller High and Low, released in 1963, is centered around Mr. Gondo, a wealthy shoe executive who becomes a victim of extortion and ransom after taking an enormous business risk. Mr. Gondo is then faced with a tough decision to preserve his wealth or risk everything for his chauffeur's son. The movie was somewhat shocking to a Western audience due to exposing the dark side of Japan and the heroin epidemic in the 60s, a country that was viewed as very civil and traditional, and a drug addiction problem that was overlooked. High and Low, also translated to Heaven and Hell, is ranked number 7 on Letterboxd and the second highest rated film by Kurosawa. The first thing I notice about this film is the very detailed blocking and composition of each shot. In the first act of the film, when police arrive and begin planning and consulting with Mr. Gondo, the characters are all blocked with extraordinary precision. When Mr. Gondo answers each call from the kidnapper, the other characters direct their attention to Gondo on the phone, since that is the main focus on the story. Aoki, the chauffeur, is always blocked far away from the phone and Mr. Gondo, representing how he has no power in the situation and how his son's life is in the hands of Mr. Gondo. While Kawanishi, Gondo's right-hand businessman, is usually placed opposite of the detectives, symbolizing Kawanishi's feelings of not wanting Gondo to risk his fortune for his chauffeur's son. While this may all appear simple and may go right over the viewer's head for the first time watching, Kurosawa's attention to detail makes this film even better on a second viewing. Something else that stands out in this film is the structure of the writing. While pretty much every film has a 3-act structure, that is, the narrative tool that divides the story in 3 parts, no film I've seen has utilized it like High and Low. In this film, there are 3 distinct sections of the story that could all be movies themselves. The first act focuses on the kidnapping and moral decision that Gondo has to make. The second act focuses on the detective's investigation and trying to solve who kidnapped the chauffeur's son, while the third and final act focuses on the villain, his motivation, and his capture. While the structure of the story can lead to repetitive moments, Kurosawa does a great job of keeping the audience on the edge of their seats as the story slowly unfolds. It's difficult to pick which act I enjoyed the most, because all are so different and feature great plot lines and moments. I'm impressed with Kurosawa's ability to keep the audience invested, despite most scenes being long and in one location. I particularly enjoyed the detective's investigation in the second act, when the police force announces their leads on the kidnapper. In this scene, I enjoy each lead becoming increasingly more helpful to solving the case. This style makes the viewer more invested in the scene, with each new reveal topping the previous one. Despite no big twists or revelations in this film, Kurosawa keeps the suspense throughout. With most crime thrillers, the writer either keeps the audience guessing or reveals the killer or criminal in dramatic fashion. In High and Low, the reveal of the kidnapper is not dramatic at all, which heightens the realism of this movie. The realism in this movie, in my opinion, is the strongest part of the film. This realistic case, with realistic characters and motivations, makes this movie somewhat refreshing amongst all the twists and turns in modern film. The realism in this movie also serves as a reflection in our society and how we view the class structure. This film touches on countless themes, including self-preservation, greed, reputation, and obsession. But the themes that come across the strongest are class and envy. In the final scene, the kidnapper reveals his reasoning for extorting Mr. Gondo to Gondo himself. When Gondo asks why the lower class and higher class should hate each other, the kidnapper talks about how he struggled all through life, and looking up at Gondo's house, something he's compared to heaven, gave him enough hate to keep him living. I believe this theme mirrors how we view the class system in our world. We expect the poor to hate the rich, and can even fall into the victim mentality ourselves when we see someone more monetarily successful than us. We grow envious and full of hatred, despite not knowing the wealthy's story. We expect the rich to look down on the poor, and not lend a helping hand. But as demonstrated in this film, even wealthy individuals can act morally. When Takeuchi is finally caught and we learn his motivation, we are still disgusted by his actions of him to try and propel himself to the wealthy class. The audience is not mad or upset that Takeuchi wants to be more financially successful. Who doesn't? But this film serves the message of, if we let envy, greed, and hatred fuel our reason for living, we may just fall into the same dilemma as Takeuchi.
君と私を憎み合う両極端として考えるんだ。
なぜだかわかりませんね。私には自己分析の趣味なんかありませんからね。ただ、私のアパートの部屋は冬は寒くて寝られない、夏は暑くて寝られない。その3畳の部屋から見上げると、あなたの家は天国みたいに見えましたよ。毎日毎日見上げてるうちに、だんだんあなたが憎くなってきた。しまいにはその像が生きがいみたいになってきたんですよ。
I rated this film 5 stars on Letterboxd and would recommend it to anyone wanting to watch a both intelligent and entertaining reflection of class or thriller. Let me know your thoughts on High and Low, and please join me next week when we discuss Kurosawa's samurai movie, Yojimbo, ranked number 117 on Letterboxd. Thank you.